Welcome to Básico Inglés 4.0, the radio show with Kyle Miller. Following class by class, step by step, the material of Básico Inglés 4.0 on Aprende Inglés TV. Class 181. Let's go! Beginner. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to class number 181. And I'm joined in the studio by a very special guest today. Gregorio is with me. Gregorio, how are you?
I'm fine. Thanks. And you, Kai? How are you doing?
Great. I'm doing fantastic, Gregorio. And thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
Well, you're welcome. It's a pleasure to have you because I understand that you're a big fan of the radio.
Of course, I am an absolutely faithful listener of phone radio since the very beginning, 6 years ago.
Wonderful. Great. And so you've learned a lot from the radio, have you?
Absolutely. I've improved a lot thanks to the phone radio.
Wonderful.
Absolutely.
Great.
Some expressions, many expressions, of course, and some pronunciation, I think.
Great. Well, it's great. You're the perfect kind of student, my favorite kind of student, someone who is really enthusiastic and really wants to be here. So welcome, Gregorio. And let's get started now with a little review of yesterday's content. We were talking about indirect questions. So questions with do you know what? For example, do you know what I did yesterday? Do you know what I did yesterday, Gregorio?
Really, I don't know. I don't know what you did yesterday.
Yeah, no. So you can say, no, I don't know what you did yesterday. Perfect.
I don't know what you did yesterday.
Okay. Now, do you know Layla from the television?
Layla, of course, from Aprende Inglés 4.0.
That's right, Layla. And now, do you know what Layla had for breakfast this morning?
Of course, I don't know what she had for breakfast this morning.
Right. I don't know. No, I don't know what Layla had for breakfast this morning. Of course not. No. Do you know what I did last summer?
No, I don't know what you did last summer.
Last summer? No.
Summer.
Okay. Do you know what my brother told me last week?
No, I don't know what your brother told you last week.
No. Okay. He told me a lot of things last week. Yeah. I saw my brother last week. Yeah. I talk about my brother a lot. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, I listen to you speaking sometimes about your brother came lately.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So, do you know what Fitz? Now, you remember Fitz, right?
Fitz from Ireland. The Irish teacher. Yeah,
of course.
Yeah.
Do you know what Fitz read about last week?
I don't know what Fitz read about last week.
Good. Okay. Oh, neither do I, because I haven't asked him. Okay. Do you know what my uncle does for a living?
I don't know what your uncle does for a living.
Now, what does that mean, to do for a living? What does that mean?
To earn a living, to work in, to do for a living, to something, your work, to get money, to earn money.
Exactly. Your professional orientation, let's say, what you do for work.
To be on a payroll.
Exactly. So we say to do something for a living, or we also say to make a living. So I make a living as an English teacher. I teach English. That's how I make a living. That's how I earn a living, or that's what I do for a living, right? So do you know what my uncle does for a living?
No, I don't know what your uncle does for a living.
For a living.
For a living.
Yeah, no. Well, he works at an airport. He works at an airport in Ottawa. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Do you know what Alberto did last weekend?
Alberto Alonso, you mean?
Alberto Alonso, yeah.
I don't know what Alberto Alonso did last weekend.
Last weekend, no. Neither do I. Well, no, I don't think I do. I don't know. I don't know what he did last weekend. Who knows? Well, anyway, let's move on and take a look at the other thing we saw yesterday. We were talking about books. I was talking about books and magazines, and I've got a copy of my favorite magazine here. Have you ever seen this magazine before, Gregorio?
Yeah, sometimes I've browsed it.
Oh, you've browsed it. You've looked through it. What magazine is this?
Phone review.
It's the Vaughan Review, exactly. Now, it is the Vaughan Review, and what we're going to look at here are, we say, en la página 6. And how do you say that?
On page 6.
On page 6, that's right.
Or in. On. I think on
yeah.
page 6.
Exactly. So we say on page 6. So you can say, what's on page... Oh, ask me what's on page 6.
What's on page 6?
Well, there's some grammar on page 6. I'm looking at the May 2010 issue, so this is not the most recent one, but it's just one I found upstairs. And on page 6, we have, I wonder. I wonder where John is. I wonder. Now we have on the cover. On the cover. So here on the cover, we have a picture. There's always a picture of someone from Vaughan Systems on the cover. And then we have also on the back cover as well. So we have the front cover and we have the back cover. And we have the first page, or the title page. But we use the preposition on there, right? So ask me what we have, or ask me what is on the first page of the book.
What's on the first page of the book?
Ah, yes. Well, there's an index on the first page. On page 1, there's an index. And then there's an editorial, right? And then, well, there's some grammar, a lot of things. So what's important here is we have en la página 5, on page 5, right? So we don't say the page on the page. No, we say on page 5, not on the page, right?
Okay.
No problem?
Okay. Perfect.
En la primera página.
On first page?
On the first page.
On the first page.
Yeah, here we say on the first page.
On the first page.
On the first page. En la portada.
On the cover.
On the cover, yeah, on the cover. Or with newspapers, we often say the front page as well, the front page.
The front page.
The front page.
The front page.
Yeah. Have you ever been on the front page of the New York Times?
No, I'm afraid I haven't.
No, me neither. Yo tampoco, me neither. En la contraportada.
On the back cover.
On the back cover. That's right, on the back cover. So there you go. There we have some vocabulary and some terms related to magazines and books as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. So now let's move on and take a look at our word of the day. Word of the day. All right, it is time for the word of the day. Our word of the day today is estilo in Spanish. And Gregorio, how do you say that in English?
Style.
Style. Nice. Yeah, style. And style can be, yeah, like your style of doing things. I suppose all of the teachers have a different style on TV. Do you think?
Yeah, of course. In English 4.0, you the teachers, each one has its own style.
Yeah, which I think is good, that different teachers have a different style. Don't you think?
Of course, it's good.
I think so. And that way we have a balanced approach, I think. I think it's nice to have a different style. So be careful with this, with the pronunciation, because we say style, not a style, right? His style. So if you say, I like his style, can you say that?
I like his style.
I like his style. I like your style.
I like your style.
Well, thank you. Okay, no, but the important thing is there's no E, not a style, no, but simply style, right?
Style.
All right, good. Let's move on now into class number 181, and we see the verb to drive, which is conducir, right? Ir en coche. Did you drive here today?
No, I haven't. I came
Did-
on foot.
Did you drive? So no, I didn't. I didn't.
No,
drive.
I didn't. I didn't.
So every day I drive, and yesterday I
Drove.
drove. So drive, and in the past drove. So we do have that D sound. Sorry, the V, drive, drove. Okay. Did you drive a car last month?
Yeah, I drove a car last month.
Did you drive a taxi last month?
No, I didn't drive a taxi last month.
Did you drive a motorcycle last month?
No, I didn't drive a motorcycle last month.
Did you drive a truck last month?
No, I didn't drive a truck last month.
Right, truck. Truck, which is the American word. And what do British people say for truck? Camion.
Lorry.
Lorry, that's right. And in North America, Canada, and the United States, we say truck. And in Britain, they say lorry. So ask me if I drive a car.
Do you drive a car?
I drive a car in Canada, but I don't drive in Spain. Ask me why I don't drive in Spain.
Why don't you drive in Spain?
I don't drive in Spain because, there's a lot of traffic. And I live in the center, and I work more or less in the center. So I prefer to take the metro or the bus. Yeah. But ask me if I drove last month.
Did you drive last month?
No, I didn't. I didn't drive last month. I drove at Christmas time in Canada, but I didn't drive last month. I didn't drive here in Spain. So every day I drive. Yesterday I drove. But what about a bicycle? What's the verb we use for a bicycle? We would say
to
ride a bicycle, which is the same as a horse. To ride a horse, to ride a bicycle. Do you know how to ride a bicycle?
Yeah, of course, I know how to ride a bicycle.
Do you know how to ride a horse?
No, I don't know how to ride a horse.
Okay, me neither. Yo tampoco. Me neither. But we say bicycle. In Spanish, you say bicicleta, and then you say bici. In English, we say bicycle or
bike.
Bike, yeah. I learned to ride a bike when I was young, and I learned to drive a car when I was 17. How old were you when you learned to drive a car?
Quite late. I was 24 when I learned how to drive a car.
Okay, yeah. But I think in Canada, everyone learns young because there's a great distance between towns. So we spend time, moving around. So we need to get our driver's licenses earlier, I think so. Whereas in Spain, it's not quite as necessary, I think. Do you agree?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
All right. Okay, let's move on, Gregorio, and take a look at our vocabulary of the day. Vocabulary of the day. All right, it is time for the vocabulary of the day. This is our 5 words of vocabulary. The first word today, aceptable. Aceptable. How do you say that in English?
Acceptable.
Acceptable. Good, acceptable.
Acceptable.
Acceptable. Compacto.
Compact.
Compact. Compact. Right. Despierto.
Waken. Awaken. Awaken.
Awake.
Awake.
Awake. Are you asleep or are you awake?
I'm awake.
I'm awake.
I hope.
Yeah, you're awake. What time did you wake up this morning?
I woke up at 7:40.
Okay.
7:30.
Okay. Brasileño.
Brazilian.
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 Are you Brazilian?
No, I'm not Brazilian.
Mm-hmm. Amplio.
Wide.
Wide, very good. Or amplio.
Broad.
Broad, exactly. Like broadband internet, right? Banda ancha, but we say broadband. Broadway in New York City, it's very wide. It's a very major street. Broadway, right? Amplia, or amplio in this case, right? Broad. All right? Good, let's move on now and take a look at the last point for today's class. We have, once again, do you know? But here, I'd like you to ask me the questions. Okay, so this is an indirect question structure. Now, we've practiced this for those of you at home listening right now. We have practiced this over the last few days, so this structure should be no problem, right? But now we're looking at, do you know what? And you're forming the questions, okay? So ask me if I know what you did last weekend.
Sorry, can you repeat?
Ask me if I know what you did last weekend.
Do you know what did I do?
Do you know what I did?
Sorry. Do you know what I did last week?
Or last weekend?
Last weekend?
No, I don't. I don't know what you did last weekend. I don't know what you did. I don't know what you did last weekend. Ask me if I know what Fitz had for lunch yesterday.
Do you know what Fitz had for lunch yesterday?
No, I don't know. I don't know what Fitz had for lunch yesterday. Ask me if I know what David's grandfather did for a living.
Do you know what David's grandfather did for a living?
Good. Now, at home, did you get that? Kyle, do you know what David's grandfather did for a living? Ask me again.
Kyle, do you know what Fritz's grandfather...
Oh, David's.
David's grandfather did for a living?
No, I don't. I don't know. I have no idea what he did for a living. Ask me if I know what color of shirt you wore yesterday.
Kyle, do you know what color of shirt I wore yesterday?
No, I don't. I don't know. I don't know what color of shirt you wore yesterday. Ask me if I know what you did last night.
Kyle, do you know what I did last night?
No, I don't know what you did last night. I don't know. Well, Gregorio, we're out of time. We're all out of time, but I want to thank you for joining me. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'm pleased of having been here.
Great. Well, will you stay? Maybe you can stay for the intermediate portion. Will you stay for that?
Okay.
Great. So Gregorio and I will be back in just a few minutes. I hope you will keep listening to the intermediate portion. Coming up soon, we'll take a short break and be right back. Thanks. Bye-bye.